Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode with Radiance Chapter. We're very excited today because we have somebody in the studio who is right after my heart, somebody who believes in fitness and health, and especially longevity. And I'd like to welcome Shelley Murdock.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
You're so welcome. You know how excited we have both been about this since we met, which is what, 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago.
Oh my God, that's craziness.
I think we connected almost instantly.
I think so. I felt like I already knew you.
Yes, I would agree with that. Yes, I would. It felt like a meaningful hug. Yes, it did.
It did. It did.
It did.
Oh my God. What a great day. Anyway, before we start talking, Shelley and I, because we're going to start talking and then we're going to lose track of time, I just want to give a very quick introduction to Shelley here. Shelley is actually a professional fitness and longevity coach, and she's been doing this since the past 8 years. That's amazing. Wow. Before that, though, Shelley's been a lifelong volunteer in the fitness field of things, volunteering for gymnastics, for cross country, in schools and in other programs, baseball for boys, and even taekwondo, if I say that right.
Yes.
That's amazing. When I was a kid, I learned a bit of taekwondo. I got up to green belt, yellow belt or green belt, one of the two, I don't know which one.
Yes.
No, yellow, I think.
Yes.
The initial ones.
The initial ones, yes.
And I was very flexible. So,
yes.
Not anymore.
No, well, Taekwondo is for everybody. And it makes you feel great. Yeah, it's wonderful.
I didn't really necessarily feel great at the time to me.
No. But everybody has their way. Yes, that's okay.
But we'll talk about
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that.
On the same idea of personal training or fitness coaching, Shelley also does personal training, and she has clients from the age of young children all the way to seniors. We will probably be talking about one of her clients who's about 89 years of age.
Yes.
Which is amazing.
Yes.
That's amazing. But Shelley's main focus really are young professionals, people that go to work every day and have younger kids and don't seem to find the time to actually look at their longevity goals. So that's it. Apart from all of this, I did forget to say that she actually has a background in phys ed from McGill University. So we've got a pretty profesh person here today in the studio talking about fitness. It's just not me talking about fitness because, I talk about that all the time. So I'm so glad I have you.
Oh, I'm glad you have me because it is my passion since I have been young. I've volunteered since I've been young. Once I aged out of certain sports, for example, in gymnastics, then I started assisting with coaches and helping them because I know how much joy it brought me. Yeah. And when I say aged out, it's because I became 5'5" and 120 pounds and not necessarily the competitive version in those days of gymnastics. But also my changing of what I was enjoying in sport, right? So it moved on to something else, which was fine with me at the time, but
So you weren't just coaching gymnastics, you were also a gymnast?
Yes, when I was younger, I loved it so much.
Oh my God, I love that.
I had a balance beam in my backyard. Before that, I would be using the curb in front of my house.
Oh yeah, we've all used the curb.
Yes, exactly.
Like we're these huge, professional gymnasts that wouldn't fall off the curb.
Exactly.
But can I tell you, when I was younger, it was much easier to do that. And I tried the day before yesterday. I went to the Tulip Festival and I was trying to walk on the curb.
Yeah.
And I wasn't really being able to do that,
Our bodies change as we get older. Even if we do work out, our bodies change and we have to adapt and move accordingly and strength train those areas that we no longer have the same ability or that we used when we were kids. So our muscles change, our joints change, from sitting, let's say, or from standing a certain way, from decades of a certain behavior that we don't even notice because it's incorporated in our day. So that when we start to do something that we used to do, it becomes, isn't that a surprise? You learned a little something about yourself, right? Yes. That's the beginning, the blooming of a new thing. Modifications are progressions to your journey, right? Yes. It's never a judgment of what you do. So it's always that little indication that, hey, this is what I need to work on. It's okay. You have time. If you can't get to the floor, start doing it from a seat. If the seat is too high, find a little bench. Like a little stool bench kids stand on to brush their teeth.
Yes.
Use that. Work your way from up to down, and then ascend and descend as we can. No hands. Then when you get there, no hands. Then try the twirl. All the things. Put your shoes on, standing on one foot, one sock, one shoe. Simple, easy things. Anyway, It was an amusing thing. So funny that you said about the curve. This was a discussion with the siblings this weekend. Same thing.
Right, interesting. And as we do age, though, balance is a problem.
Yes.
So our body is not the same agile as it used to be when we were kids, and it changes its center. I think our body as we age changes the center of where it believes the balance is. Actually, I feel a lot of that has to do with brain health as well. And I think that is extremely important because our perception of distance and space changes with age or with brain health, I should say. It might not fully be age, but if you're not taking care of your brain health, then yes, age. And then that is why balance becomes a problem. Apart from all of that, loss of muscle and all of the other health issues that you get if you're not staying focused on how healthy body should look like.
Exactly. And the mental health and brain health are related, as well as emotional health, the same. All three of them are kind of connected in the same way. So if you are physically active, you're increasing that blood flow, which stimulates all the activity in your brain and your muscles as well. But as we age, regardless of that, your depth perception changes. Your perception of things change as well. And your relationship to space and time and distance is very different. So keeping a routine is very important. Keeping a physical routine is important. Challenging your mental growth, your emotional growth is huge. And getting really out of your comfort zone is very important to your self-development and your growth, not for anybody else's, but for your own. If you want to be alive, you need to be uncomfortable almost all the time, a lot, to be happy. Because you have to challenge yourself, and you might go through lulls and quiet periods where it's nice to be peaceful and ride the nicely. I will call it, the lazy river, as opposed to doing your kayaking in the rapids. It doesn't always have to be rapids, but there should be spurts of rapids in your life that allows you to grow a little bit in many ways. So when you grow personally, professionally, when you challenge your education, and it doesn't have to be going to school, something that you learn, take up something, as they always say, take up another language, start doing math. Look at science differently when you were a child, and maybe, or pick up physics. Something different. That's really cool. And learn, because when it benefits you and you challenge yourself, you enhance that to your family. When you are happy, your children are happier, yes? Yes. Your relationships with your rest of your family, my lovesman, I call him my lovesman, everything improves. Yes. When you give back to yourself challenges, and whether you succeed could be achieving them or not, trying is success. So that makes everyone happy, and your growth as a person and your mental growth is risen, and that's really all we're here for. So it's the important thing to do, because if there is no challenge and there is no change, there is no growth. And that's not just in your physical bodies, that's in every aspect of your life. Yes. And sometimes I feel we wait until we get challenged by sickness. And we consider, that was the challenge. And we wait to get to that point before we decide that's not comfortable. We want to make a change around this, and we want to feel better. Yeah. But what we don't realize is you can actually preemptively work on that and not wait to be challenged by sickness, that you can, or by age, or by deterioration of just life, that you can actually do something about it prior. And routine, you said. Routine. Have a routine where you are, just like you would get up and you would make the lunches for the kids, and you would get your husband out of the door if that's what you're doing, and get to yourself to work as you are doing. Yeah. Also make time for that little bit of work that you want to do on yourself every day. Yeah. And then look at the progress and enjoy the benefits of that. Yeah. Isn't that the idea? You're a grandma. Yes, I Shelley. Am. To two wonderful little girls, and they are true joy. I think when you introduced me, my first thing is, I guess I'm a mom. Yes. And second thing is I'm a grandma, Nana. And those are, I guess, the two roles that I truly, truly love. I love being both of those things, They mean probably the world to me. But within those, I bring bits of Shelley so that they love to be with me too, right? So everyone else, I want them to feel as joyful as I do most of the time. And a lot of that comes from things that I can share with my granddaughters. They're going to be the co-authors of my third book. Isn't that
Talking
wonderful?
about the book. This is your second book.
It is my second book.
I picked it up right away because the moment I read In Search of Longevity, I was like, first of all, who is Shelley?
Yeah.
I want to talk to Shelley. And second, I want to read this book. And I'm reading through it. And this is amazing. And you have simplified, it's so simplified. Like, I love it. It's not jargon.
No.
It's not like overbearing words. It's not like extreme ideas of what you need to do. It's very simple stuff. It's exactly what you're talking about. And you said...
I love that you said that, first of all, because that is what I want the essence of the book to be. Thank you for saying that. I want it to be simple because that's what it is. It's not complex.
You're welcome.
The bottom word is the top word, bottom word, the in-between word is simple.
And it is.
Thank you.
Thank you. You have to accept that I'm thanking you for writing a book like this, which you can relate to and you can read and you can understand, instead of having to be like, let me just go look up the science paper here and see, what do they mean by this? No, this is easy. And here we're talking about, and I'm going to bring this up because we talked about mind and body and emotional status and how it is important to challenge ourselves. You have a chapter on neuroplasticity.
Yes.
For somebody who doesn't understand what neuroplasticity is, could you give it an explanation?
All right. Very simple explanation is the elasticity of our brains and our how we want to improve our health. That we need to expand what we know all the time. So becoming a growth-minded individual, if you want to look at it that way, a growth-minded individual, you want to keep challenging yourself to be able to challenge yourself through life. And so that neuroplasticity is keeping our mind flexible and agile, just like we do our bodies, but we need to keep our mind in a similar way. So by putting ourselves in different situations, by bringing in new opportunities to meet other people, learning scenarios, that we can actually benefit from expanding our minds. So the neuroplasticity part of it, I mean, we can get into the scientific jargon of what it is, or I can give you the Coles notes. What we want to do is basically, this is the book for the Coles notes. The neuroplasticity is you want to expand what you already know. And that challenge to our mind and to our brain allows us to have physical benefits, as well that ripple effect that we can have conversations with others, remain coherent, here's my favorite thing, be relevant. As we age, we become less relevant to the people around us. Now, it's all very nice if you want to sit back in a rocking chair and just watch life go by, or do you want to participate in it? So mine is, I want to be here. If I'm here, I'm all in. Big heart, full heart. If you want to sit back, sit back. It's a choice. So my tagline lately has been healthy by habit, strong by choice.
Love that.
So I want you to feel that healthy by habit, strong by choice, that you make that regardless of it being physical, emotional, or mental. You have to embrace those feelings. So if it's based on neuroplasticity, the same thing. You want to be able to be relevant to the people in your life. You want to be relevant to your neighbors when you're having a conversation. Can you carry the weight of that conversation? So,
you know, this ties into the reason I brought up the fact that you were a grandma. And you did talk about how the children, the little girls, like to spend time with Shelley.
Yes.
And not just grandma.
Yeah.
Because those are two different personality types.
Yes, they are.
Aren't they?
Yes,
Nana is a little different. Shelley is a little different. And that's the idea of relative appreciation of where you are and who your little audience is. It could be young little children and or your own children, and or even somebody who's much older than you.
Yes.
But you could be the person that relates to all of them. Or they can understand that they can relate to you.
Yes. So when we go to the park, I want to be running around the park with them. They can run circles around me. They can beat me all over the place, but I'm still a participant in it. And that's being a participant in life. So when they come, I want to be there. Not just sitting out on the steps blowing bubbles, but I want to be participating in their life. Going for nature walks, looking for bugs, going for the swim, going to the wave pool, all those things.
I love
that. We build those memories together. That's what they're going to remember, those little things. They're not going to remember some big event that we did.
No.
They'll remember, Nana did this with them.
Yeah.
And that's what matters to them. My kids, I want them to remember that the things that we did, which were similar when my kids were little. If mom didn't run 22 kilometers that day, they knew they were getting on their bikes. And they'd have to come with me. And I'd be yelling, stick to the curb.
Yeah. Oh, God. Yes, I hear that.
And it's not just the physicality of it. It was the memories that we did. We'd be biking to the market. And so that was what my book, I hopefully try and tell people, is just build it into your life.
I want to ask a question to you about this. You've been into health and fitness for a very long time, okay, since you were a young child. When did that journey actually transfer into almost segue into the fact that this is longevity that you're talking about or thinking about? And is there a switch, or is that a natural progression?
I'm going to say for me, it was a natural progression. For most people, it might not be, but mine was a natural progression. When I was young, I was always interested in being active and having fun. I had brothers, we played all the time. And street hockey, we were always outside, doing ice hockey. Whatever we played together, always active. Now, the adults during my time were not. And they also suffered, most of them, from the chronic diseases and subsequently dying from those chronic diseases. I ate well simply because I preferred certain foods. But there are periods of time that I recognized, this may not be the healthiest way to live and eat. So I switched, and when I noticed that, I feel better, I can do these things. But other people were not. So I'd already done education in phys ed. Yeah. And as I was doing through more sports, I took up running. I'd already started weight training when I was 19.
Oh, wow. Wow. One of the few you must be. Weight training at 19.
Yeah, in 1979, my brother Peter took me to a bodybuilding gym. And he was a bodybuilder. He was only 14, just become 15, following all of Arnold's books and Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, okay. Big, huge fan. And that was a huge component of, or his inspiration. And Pete was a natural bodybuilder, and he took me to the gym that we had in our local town. He was 14 and I was 19, and there was no one in there who wasn't a serious bodybuilder.
Your younger brother took you to a bodybuilding gym when you were 19, and I'm sure there were no girls there.
None. And all the men showed me how to use the weights, pick up the weights, what to do, how to train.
How wonderful.
So that was a gift. I was never uncomfortable because they had to be polite to me because I was Pete's sister.
Yes.
At the precursor. And they taught me how to use weights for bodybuilding and heavy weight training, and safely. And they were very, very encouraging, which was very interesting. It was like an old garage style.
And there was never anybody that told you you were a girl, that you shouldn't be there?
No, they did not.
That's amazing.
And it was a supportive environment, so that when I did become a professional fitness trainer, I would hear so many women uncomfortable to go into the gym.
Yeah.
And I found that really heartbreaking. I knew many people are, but most of them they'd go, I'm happy here on the treadmill and I can see the gym, but I don't want to go in. I'll use the elliptical.
Oof, yes.
Yeah. So when I realized after a while, I feel so comfortable. It doesn't matter who's in there. I'm in there to work out, and I'm done. Do my workout. Don't talk to me. I'm in my zone, having fun. And I don't worry about it. If somebody's using the machine, I wait till it's my time. I clean it off. I do my workout. I have no problem asserting myself because we're there to work out. Yeah. That's just the essence of being in the gym. So I was surprised, and I thought, okay, this has to change. So when I worked at one of the gyms, I created a program to take women in the off hours when it wasn't busy, to walk them around the machines, teach them what it was for, Show them how to lift the seat up, because you don't know which ones have to lift the seat. How you open the parts for your arms, because it causes you to be uncomfortable if you're not knowing. And if you already walk in there not knowing, I want them to walk in there and own the gym. You walk in, you own the gym.
I love that.
Step up to the machine, or step up to the dumbbells. Doesn't matter what the weight is. Own it. Be there. Have fun.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, nobody's judging you. They're all impressed that you showed up, regardless of the physical shape you're in, the strength you have. You showed up. You're there. You're part of that group. So it's welcoming.
That's amazing. So was that one of the reasons why you did start personal training a little bit? Because I mean, I know a lot of people that's like shy of the gym. I didn't consider myself a gym person for a very long time. Part of that was kind of the stuff that you're saying, but part of that was also because I just that environment felt intimidating to me altogether. Not because of male or female, but like that part, yes, but like also just that it feels intimidating when everybody's like throwing weights around and you hear these big metallic noises and stuff happening, and you go like, I don't know if I can do this, and I don't know if I should. Do I need to? I probably don't need to. I'm not very. I don't have too much weight around my body. I'm fine. I look good. I'm thin.
Yep.
I don't need to worry about it.
I look great in my clothes. I'm this. That's not the real truth, though. That the health aspect is not being achieved. The physical look is being achieved, but maybe not your overall health. So it's nice to say yes, but it's sad when people don't want to show up in the gym. It's not everybody's cup of tea. Let's put it there. So to be fair, not everybody, but every day you need to eat well. You need to eat. Why not make it eat well? Every day you need to brush your teeth, floss. So the gym is your teeth and flossing if you're not into working out in the gym, but that is your basis so that you can do the things that you do love. So I'm here as a strength coach or a fitness coach to ensure that I give you efficient, strong workouts in the gym or at home so that you can do actually the things that you do love. Right? Even if the gym is not where you love, or that's not your goal, but your goal might be going to play pickleball. It might be to be, I like tennis. Maybe you want to do a Spartan run. You go, well, I don't need to be able to do this kind of activity. Yes, you actually have to. If you wish to be overall healthy, it'll benefit you. Do you have to lift heavy weights? Even though we hear that all the time, no, you don't have to lift heavy weights. What I'd like to see you do is just lift weights on a regular basis, right? It doesn't have to be all out. It has to be consistent.
Start somewhere and stay consistent.
Start somewhere, consistent. So when you talk about showing up and, well, I don't need to do it because I look slim, I'll tell you a story. My mom died almost 2 years ago from Alzheimer's. And she initially was diagnosed with mixed dementia, which is cardiovascular dementia, as well as Alzheimer's. And after the progression, it does turn into Alzheimer's. But cardiovascular dementia is exactly that. Not enough going to the brain. We just talked about brain plasticity. So part of my why in my books is I really tried to encourage my mom all of my life. I would carry her around when I was 12. I'd carry her around the house. But was that simple thing was she was a beautiful, elegant woman. Lovely. Lovely in every way. Personality. She looked so elegant every time she went somewhere. But she was not someone who liked to work out or get sweaty or stress her body in any sense of the word. And basically working out is stressing your body. And we want to talk about stress and say we don't want stress in our lives. We actually want that kind of stress in our life.
We do. Yes.
That's an important kind of stress because that is the building blocks of being stronger in our bodies, stronger in our resolve. And so after a period of time, those people or those individuals who are not as healthy but look fine on the outside, it catches up with them, which is not seen when you're 20 or 30 or maybe 40. But we're starting to see that. But those chronic diseases start showing up earlier.
Even though somebody looks like they're healthy or maybe fit on the outside, purely because they're slim.
Yeah, slim does not, skinny is not the healthy. Strong is healthy. having a bigger muscles, eating more protein, building strength in your body is healthy. Looking skinny is not.
No.
It was and never has been really the way to maintain health. And so unfortunately, that's shown in a lot of media.
But I think that's the standard that women are held up to. I think that's the problem. And then everybody stops eating or dieting of some kind. And I think that really is detrimental.
Ditch the diet, ditch the diet, ditch the diet.
Ditch the diet, ladies.
And men, because men. Because people, it's starting to be now in young men the same thing. People are focusing on food.
On calorie
counting. And I thought we did this in previous years where we recognized that that's not the way to go. Eat what you need to eat as healthy foods. Stay away from the processed food.
Yes.
Simple as that. I wrote my book with the idea, and I live my life with the same values. Eat healthy, don't eat processed foods. Stay away from processed foods because they don't help your body in any sense. They're tasty, they're addictive, and they cause your bodies to change they become addictive in that sense, right? So you crave those. So your focus should be on eating healthy food, training your body to like the things that are good for you. Then you start craving those foods. But the skinny for boys, girls, men, and women has taken over, and that food problem of thinking calorie counting has become an obsession. The same thing with thinking of processed foods. So eat healthy, whole, nutrient-dense foods is the most important thing.
I love that you wanted to make sure that we understood that we need to stay away from processed foods. Like that, I think, is the number one message that I'm getting every time I talk to somebody who is into any kind of health. Whether fitness is part of the conversation or longevity is part of the conversation, it doesn't matter because we are what we eat. And that's what I believe, 100%. We will become used to and addicted to sugars and processed foods because they are made of addictive stuff.
Yeah.
And then we can also change that. It's not like we cannot change that. We can change that and we can start eating the good stuff. And, they say the gut bacteria, when you start giving it the good food, it wants the good food.
Yes.
And then you kind of get repelled by not good food. Now that to me is the best kind of calorie count.
Love that, yes.
Because if you start eating the good stuff, you're not going to want that chocolate bar that's sitting on your counter because you'd be like, no. I'd rather eat a fig or a date or something that makes me happier and makes me feel better. And that, I think, is, again, neuroplasticity. I think it's where you start eating the good stuff and it tastes bad because the good stuff doesn't taste like sweet or candy or, you know what I mean? But it's like, that just tastes weird. But as you keep going, it's going to start tasting good.
It does. And it's funny because I remember training people when they want to do, for example, if you come to me to train for just regular everyday training, fine. Some folks want to come because they want to train for a specific event. And I remember training people for the same thing. And they go, when I'm done, in the beginning, they start, I can't wait to have that poutine. I can't wait to have this when I'm done. I'm thinking, oh, you just wait. And as they're eating healthy foods and building it into their regular program because their bodies are craving to have something good, by the end of their training, or, they start to recognize, no, I don't think I'm going to do that. I'm going to just have this instead. And it's like, oh, yes. Oh, my God. That is a joyful moment, right? So it's just exactly as you said. Your body learns to appreciate. It first starts off as something you do. Then it builds into something you practice. Then it builds into a bit of a behavior, a bit of a routine. And it might take 2 weeks, 3 months, 265 days, whatever it takes. When it becomes a habit, you don't want to change it. You're more reluctant because you like the feeling, as you talked about, in your gut. Because if your gut doesn't feel good, your brain doesn't feel good, and you can't focus on what you need to do.
No.
So you want to feed the body, fuel the body with nutrient-dense food, and you feel good. Doesn't mean that you're going to do it all the time.
No.
It means you make the best choices as much of the time as possible.
Absolutely.
So I stress that part of healthier, happier, not the healthiest. because the healthiest means you can't, it sets you up for failure. Because if you're going to have the healthiest, that means you're going to avoid anything that does bring you joy.
Yes.
Family occasions, you sit with family, you can't not eat, you enjoy, partake.
Yes.
Does it mean
a glass of wine
in all glass
every
of
now
wine?
and then?
Yes.
Like, that's okay. You cannot be hating on yourself for that.
Exactly. Enjoy, have fun, be part of life.
You know, when I say that if you drink a glass of water and you're hating to have to drink the glass of water, that glass of water is turning into some kind of poison into your body.
Yes.
Even though it's just water. And you could be drinking a glass of wine and loving your life, and that glass of wine is going to become the elixir of life for the next 15, 20, 30 minutes of your evening, and you're going to love it.
Yes.
But if you love it, that's when it becomes the most important thing that it is.
Yes.
Doesn't matter what it is. But you can grow to love things.
Yes.
That's how we are.
Yes.
We have to train our brains, and we have to train our minds, and we have to actually train our thought process.
Yes.
To then look at something in a positive manner, because positivity is what really changes everything.
Yes. It's that gratitude for what you wake up with, what you have. When you were little, you may not have enjoyed I'm trying to think of something. Coffee.
Blue cheese.
Blue cheese. Still. Maybe that was like, you couldn't, it's still a problem for me too. On a totally different level. But choose something that you didn't like as a child. And as an adult, you might go, you don't look at it that way. But it took a number of tries.
I think it's seafood for me.
Yes.
When I started, it felt,
Yes.
But now.
Yes. It's a treat. It's something good. It's healthy, or it's enjoyable. And yes, so it's that neuroplasticity too, but you've trained yourself to like it as well. Yes. And it took time. It took practice. It didn't happen in one or two settings, and you evolved and you change.
Yes.
As humans, we evolve, we change. If you're not evolving, you're not growing.
Yep.
So that's, there you go.
If you're not evolving, you're not growing.
No.
How simple is that?
Don't you always want to be a better version of yourself? There's no competition.
No.
But it's just you. Oh, I did that. Now I want to try something new. Can I try this with a little more? Can I do it with ease? Can I do it with grace now without stumbling through? That's just small things that they don't have to be. We're all looking for the big. How about we bring it down and just achieve, as we were talking about weights before.
The big and the perfect.
Yes. How about we just be, as they always say on social media, be flawsome. Just fall down, get up, do it again. I'd like to be flawsome.
I love that term. Be flawsome.
Be flawsome. Be flawsome.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Get down, get up, whatever, how many times it takes. And I know that's, we use that always, get down. How many times can you get up? Well, if you have to sit down for a little bit, that's okay too. But get back up and twirl around a little bit. Change your brain. So to me, it's constant. That evolving thing is very important to me. And it's been, when you asked me before about, has it always been there? For me, it's always been there. And when you get to a certain level as an adult and you realize, well, you're at work, you've got kids, you're juggling everybody, and you're just maintaining, then you need to have a challenge. And that's why I would be there with my son, and he was young and he wanted to take on martial arts. So we went to Taekwondo. And we had you develop that socialization, that group of adults, which is part of longevity. Your group of people. If you don't have that socialization with others, you need to build that emotional strength for yourself, but you need to have that socialization. It gets you excited, enthusiastic, and it's very nerve-wracking as an adult. Kids do go up and they love tests and physical tests.
Yes,
they enjoy it and they embrace it.
Yes.
Adults get sweaty and stressed.
Because egos.
And we
don't want to fail. We cannot fail. We don't want to be looked down at. We're like, oh, haha, she couldn't do it or whatever. It's just, we take that all so personally, and none of that matters.
It doesn't. Think about it in the grand scheme of things. Do you remember, like 10 years ago, when you were stressed over that one, particular thing? No, it was a blip in your radar. But at that time, so you're so stressed, but it doesn't matter. But it was you get all worried about it. Then you get it and you go, that wasn't such a big deal. How fun was that?
Yes. Tell us what this is.
This is my life in weeks. And I like to foster gratitude every day.
So I just want to point out a little bit.
Yeah.
This way it says weeks.
Yeah.
And this way it says years.
All the way down to 80.
To 80.
80. Now
I
do sincerely believe and hope that I will get past.
I'm
I'll let you
sure
put
you will.
get past 80. But I chose 80. I have two calendars. One's the 80 and one is the 100. And I chose 80 to remind me of how important every day and every week is. And that's why. So 80 is healthy life. I want to be healthy and live that life. Every moment matters to me. It's not that I didn't recognize it before, but each one of those squares represents a week that I color every Sunday. I color off one of the boxes. So that was yesterday.
See that.
Yeah. The one that came printed was when I ordered the calendar. So for my 65th birthday, I ordered myself this calendar and I color it in. And it reminds me to foster gratitude every day for the wonderful things that happen to me, and to be grateful for the people that I get to meet, share my life with, and that life is really, really precious. And I don't want to waste it doing things that are not important. So what's important to me is helping people. I believe in service to others, and I think you do too. That's the essence of why we connected so much.
I think so.
Helping others is really important to me. And I would love if people would just be kinder to themselves, love themselves a little deeper, not just physically working out. It's a whole picture of things. And being kind and more generous, giving more grace to yourself, that it's not all or nothing. It's a little bit every day.
It's
a
not
little bit.
all or nothing.
No.
I like that.
C'est pas fin du monde. It's not the end of the world. And if it was, then we wouldn't need to be having this conversation. Yeah.
The end of the world.
It's not the end of the world. And to recognize that we give our strength and grace to others, to speak as kindly to ourselves as we do others. And that if you slipped a little bit in your healthy habit today, that's okay. Just start up again tomorrow.
We forget that.
We do. And I found a cute way of correcting yourself on that. We all carry our phones around. Choose a picture of yourself when you were 4 years old or little, just young. Put it on your phone as your screensaver. And every time you pick it up, you'll be reminded of the sweet little girl that you were. And when you're thinking really hurtful thoughts about yourself, or something didn't go well, or a presentation didn't go well, just look at the phone and just go, how would I speak to that little girl? How would I speak to little Rada when I was feeling this way? Would I speak to her in those harsh words? Would I be loathsome to myself? No, I'd be kind. I'd speak to that little girl with kindness. So that's hard to do. And always thinking of yourself in that way might help to achieve step into your own brilliance, because you're stepping out of your way if you're being kind to yourself, right? So if you're serving others by giving your gift, for example, right now is sharing with me, and I'm getting to share my gift. So you're stepping out into your brilliance to share that with me, and that's a gift. So if we could all work on that way, wouldn't we build a nicer community?
We would.
To me, that's yoga. Life is yoga. Essence of breath, awareness, and mindful movement. So to me, that even though I teach yoga, I think of it as part of what we do every day as part of life. We are weaving and moving, coming in and out of discomfort, doing it with as much grace and strength as we can in service to others. That is the essence of everything that we bring. And that we bring that to others, but we bring it to ourselves. And we first have to rely that part upon ourselves. So sit by yourself, sit alone, sit quietly, be comfortable in your own skin, identifying things that are important to you. So make it the best you can. Enjoy as much as you can. This is to make value to the words of it's important now. If everything is important in your life, then you'll focus on it, right? Yes. So getting up and having breakfast, feeling good about the day, waking up in the morning going, it's going to be a great day. We're responsible for the energy you bring into the room. And you're responsible for the energy you bring into the boardroom. And you're responsible for the energy that you bring into the room that you work in. Any space you're in, you're responsible for that energy. Because by bringing in that negativity, you bring others down at the same time. Why don't you just, it's not flipping the classroom, but wouldn't it be so much more conducive to an easier life for you to just, if you're waking up and you're on the wrong side of the bed, first of all, did you start that way? And were you rolling that you got activity on the way to go to the other side of the bed? A little bad humor there. But
I love that.
trying to find it. Did you roll and it wasn't your side? But if you did, it's like the days when you wake up where you're in a rush. You bang that elbow how many times?
Yes.
Because you're not present. Get present. Spend the 5 minutes to sit down quietly, refocus. If it's 2 minutes, it's 2 minutes. But take the time to settle, refocus, rebuild, because that 5 minutes that you spend in the morning getting yourself realigned will allow it to the day to flow more easily, more fluidly, and you won't be as irritated and agitated throughout the day. Before you leave your bed in the morning, you can do a few stretches that if you didn't wake up on the right side of the bed, you can upright that by doing it. And you'll feel a little better.
Simple.
It's as simple as the word. It doesn't have to be hard and you go, oh, I wasn't thinking of that. Make it a priority. Write yourself a little note. And if you don't have time for it, you need to make more time for it. It's like when they say you don't have time to meditate, you need to make more time to meditate if you haven't got the 2 minutes. To me, your body is a bank account, it's a science book, and it's a history book. So you come with those three things, stacking. So invest in your health, invest in your wellness, do all that. It comes with so that's your accounting. Mm-hmm. You come with your biology. Mm-hmm. Don't believe that your genes will do everything, because you can sidestep a lot of that stuff. I can't do this because obesity runs in my family. We don't call it obesity anymore. We call it under-muscled, which is a nicer term.
Oh, nice.
Yes, isn't that much better?
I like that.
Which means yes, because most people, it's not that, think of it this way, you don't have enough muscle in your body to move. So find under-muscled.
Okay.
Right? And you come with your history book. Your history is either all of the small injuries that you had or the big injuries. It also comes with the way you've been sitting for the last number of decades, or the way you've been standing. Do you favor one side? Do you put a hip out? Are you a mom with a new baby or a dad with a new baby? You're holding this. All of those things, action, right? So you think of all the things that you do habitually do every day. So if you're driving and we're in Canada, your left leg is always falling out to the side.
Yes, it is.
Slip a purse, slip a pillow, a blanket, something between your leg so that you're not opening up your hip continuously. If you're in traffic for 40 minutes every day, 40 minutes one way, 40 minutes back, and your leg's been sitting like this, and it's turned outwards. So you can do a small change. So, simple little things like that history of your body brings you together.
That's
so
amazing.
Approaching it in that way, investing in your health is important. So if you didn't invest when you were young in your bank account, you start when you can. It may not reap the greatest results, but you have other results. You have positive results. Yes. Thank you for doing this for me. Thank you.